Hello there, hope everyone has enjoyed the first episode of the thrilling Netflix series of Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Here is the second episode of Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was shown arrested in the first episode. Within hours after Jeffrey being arrested, a lot of people including channel reporters gathered around his apartment. All the discussions, news, conversations was about Jeffrey itself. Meanwhile, Jeff is handcuffed and taken to police station. His body examination was done along with other procedures. After all the procedures, Jeff is seen sitting in a room for further questionings. The same CBI officers that came to question Lionel is seen sitting in front of Jeff now. Jeff's hands and legs were chained. The CBI officers asks Jeff, "Why did you do all these?" Jeff starts saying his story to the officers. Year 1966. Jeff is just a 6-year-old boy. Jeff is on a bus, going back to his home, after school. He enters his home and finds nobody. He hears a kid crying from a room and goes there. His little brother was crying inside the cradle. Jeff understands that his brother is crying out of hunger. He looks for his mother. While searching for his mother, he finds his unconscious mother lying on the ground in a nearby room. In the next scene, Jeff's mother is taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Police has arrived there. Lionel comes back from his office. He was a chemistry researcher. Lionel angrily asks, "Did she try to commit suicide again?" A police officer tries to calm down Lionel and says, "The medicine she consumed got overdosed. Nothing else." "Who called the ambulance then?" asked Lionel. The police replies, "Your son Jeff called them." After that, Lionel congratulates Jeff, saying that, "You did a good job, son." In the next scene, after 2 days, Lionel and his wife is seen quarreling. Jeff overhears that from the next room. The quarrel was about Jeff's mother trying to commit suicide. Jeff's mother had some mental issues. She have tried to commit suicide before too. Lionel gets angry and goes out then. Jeff said to Lionel, "Don't go." But Lionel says to him, "Son, I've to go for a business trip. I'll be back after that." And Lionel leaves. After that scene, Jeff goes to a pond nearby his house. He traps some frogs from there in a bottle. The next day, Jeff gifts those frogs to his teacher. Curious teacher asks Jeff, "What's this, Jeff?" Jeff says, "This is the gift I've brought for you." After that, everybody leaves from the class. A boy named Kevin, who was a bit oversmart too, approaches the teacher and says, "Teacher, why did Jeff give you frogs?" "I don't know. We all know his character, don't we?" "Kevin, you should behave nicely towards him," said the teacher. Then Kevin asks, "Teacher, can I take this frog?" Teacher gives Kevin the bottle with the frogs. Outside the school, Jeff sees the bottle with frog in Kevin's hand. Jeff seeing that says to Kevin, "I gave this to teacher." Kevin mocks Jeff and says, "Teacher gave this to me, you weirdo." Jeff becomes angry and leaves. Since childhood itself, Jeff was a very strange boy, so everybody called him weirdo. Jeff was going back to home after school. He had the bottle with a frog in his hands too. Kevin was unaware about Jeff following him. Jeff goes behind Kevin, enters Kevin's house and takes Jeff's frog bottle from the table. Then Jeff goes to the pond with that and pours kerosene into the bottle for some reason. Jeff did many random, strange, psychic things in his whole life. The next day, Lionel and Jeff is cleaning the floor of their home. A bandicoot was lying dead on their floor. Lionel takes it out. Jeff asks, "Dad, is this a rat?" "No, son, this is a bandicoot. It is bigger than a normal rat," said Lionel. "Dad, how did it die?" asked Jeff. "Some dog would have bit it. It would have got scared and might have entered the house to escape," said Lionel. For a while, Jeff looks at the body of that bandicoot. Jeff never felt any disgust or hesitation looking at dead things. The next day, Jeff's mother and father is again seen quarreling, which is not at all new to Jeff. Lionel, as usual, leaves and goes out. Jeff is sitting outside their room. Jeff's mother is looking at him from the room. Jeff's mother won't really talk to anyone. She didn't even properly care about her children. After that, the next scene shows Lionel and Jeff all set to go for a trip together. Jeff used to be with Lionel almost all the time, so whatever Jeff knew was from Lionel. While tripping, they saw a dead cat on their way. They took the dead cat and kept it in their car dicky. That night, together, they does a postmortem on that cat. Lionel knew some small medical related stuff. He shows the cat's heart to Jeff. Jeff takes it in his hands and observes it very well. Jeff then asks, "Dad, are you going to divorce Mom?" Lionel didn't really have a proper answer to Jeff's question. Lionel stood and went away from Jeff. Then they started cutting the cat. The next scene shows, year 1981. Jeff is a chef in a restaurant. He is 21 and is living in Miami City. Every day after work, he goes to watch sea and drinks beer, all alone. He didn't really have any friends there and used to have a lonely life. Back at Jeff's home, in Miami City, He calls Lionel and says, "I'm so bored here. Can I come back to home? You went to Miami because you were thrown out of army. Didn't you said to me that you want to enjoy your life there? Are you done now there too?" asked Lionel. Jeff was in army for a while. He got expelled from army as he didn't obey the rules there properly. That's why he is currently living without any proper aim or goal in his life. "Dad, can I come back to home?" asked Jeff, sadly. Lionel didn't reply to that, as Lionel now is living with his second wife who didn't really like Jeff that much. In the next scene, after some days, Jeff goes back to his hometown from Miami on a plane. Lionel was waiting in his car for Jeff at the airport. Later, Lionel takes Jeff to his grandmother. On the way, Lionel tells Jeff that, "You are going to live with your grandmother, which means you have to take care of your own character. You can't drink all day and disturb your grandmother, and also, you have to find a new job soon." "I'll do whatever you say, Dad," said Jeff. After that, Jeff starts living with his grandmother. A few days passed. One day night, both Jeff and his grandmother was having dinner, watching TV. While eating, grandmother said many things to Jeff. "You don't have to eat with me always. Go find some friends. Go out and have fun with them. You should also find a girlfriend for yourself and go on dates with her." "Did you get me?" asked Jeff's grandmother. "I'll do as you say, grandmother," said Jeff. Grandmother was going on talking about things. She said, "I met this girl at the church. She's so adorable and I can talk to her about you." Grandmother seems really desperate to set Jeff up with someone. Jeff wasn't really interested on all that, as he was a gay. In the next scene, Jeff is working at a blood plasma center and is seen squeezing out blood from food meat, which is his job. Suddenly, the shop owner enters and sees Jeff wearing a t-shirt. The owner says, "Haven't I told you, Jeff, to not wear a t-shirt while working? You should go and change that immediately." "I don't have anything else apart from this t-shirt. That's why I wore this. I'll go buy another shirt today itself," said Jeff, and the owner believes it and leaves. That night, Jeff goes to a cloth shop and took a shirt. While the shirt was getting packed, Jeff notices a male dummy there, which is usually seen in those kinds of cloth shops. A person was dressing up that dummy. Jeff starts feeling sexually affectionate towards that dummy. Then he paid the bill and intends to leave that place. But instead, he changes his mind, goes to the changing room and hides there, without letting anybody know that. After some time, the shop is going to shut down, and everybody, including watchmen, workers, starts leaving from that place to their respective homes. Jeff is the only one left in that shop now. Jeff takes a big cover and heads towards the dummy. Then he starts undressing the dummy, unscrewed it into parts and puts in the cover. He hid in the changing room to take it to his home. That night, Jeff had sex with it. Next day morning, Jeff was about to leave home for job. His grandmother arrived near Jeff's room with a basket. She came to take Jeff's clothes for laundry. "Grandmother, keep that basket outside the room. I'll wash my dresses by myself. You don't have to go inside my room," said Jeff and left. Grandmother feels suspicious about what Jeff said and enters inside his room. She sees somebody sleeping under the blanket, and when pulls the blanket, finds the dummy. This leaves the grandmother in a big shock. 10 years passed. It is year 1991. Jeff is 31 years old now. It's a man now lying on his bed instead of a dummy. A black man was lying dead on Jeff's bed. Jeff killed that man and had sex with that man's dead body. After that, Jeff went to a shop to buy some beer. Some kids were standing outside that shop. They wanted to have beer, but the shopkeeper isn't willing to give them beer, as they haven't reached the mature age. They're trying to find a way to drink beer. Jeff talks to one among the kids. "You didn't get beer, isn't it? Should I buy one for you guys?" Jeff asked. "It would be a great help if you did that for us," said a kid named Connor. Thus, Jeff goes inside the shop and after some time, brings out beer for them. But he didn't give that beer to Connor. "Hey, where are you trying to go? Did you just make me a fool saying that you'd buy me beer?" said Connor. "I won't fool you. If you want beer, you should have it with me. I won't give you the beer unless you agree to come and drink it with me." Connor thinks whether he should or shouldn't go with Jeff. To make Connor agree, Jeff bargains with Connor saying, "If you come with me, you'll get $100. Are you now willing to come?" When Connor felt that Jeff will pay him, he goes with Jeff then. In the next scene, they both are seen sitting in Jeff's room. They're sitting in that same room of the apartment where police caught him. Jeff gives the beer to Connor. "How old are you, boy?" asked Jeff. Connor faintly said 14. "Don't be afraid. Drink this beer." "I won't say this to anyone," said Jeff. Jeff asks, "Why did you agree to come with me when I said I'd pay you?" "I need money. My family have nobody other than me. I need to earn money somehow and look after them. That's why I agreed to come with you," said Connor. "I'll pay you, but I need your nude photographs," said Jeff. Connor agrees to that, keeping in mind his family's pathetic situation. "I knew already that you won't pay me for free. I need the money first," said Connor. Jeff gives him some money from his purse. "I'll pay you the rest after taking the photos," said Jeff. Then Connor lied on the bed, naked, and Jeff took his photos. Gradually, Connor started feeling dizzy, because Jeff mixed some drug in Connor's beer. Jeff had sex with unconsciously lying Connor, a day and a night. Jeff used Connor to have sex a whole day, but the dose of that drug have not gone completely from Connor. The effect of that drug was heavy enough that its ecstasy stays in head, at least for 2 days. The next day, Connor came to little consciousness and when looked around, didn't find Jeff around. Connor goes outside without dressing at all. Jeff's neighbor, Glenda's children were standing outside and seeing Connor said, "Why is he out without any dress?" Meanwhile, Jeff comes with beer and sees Glenda's children outside the apartment talking to the police. Glenda was the one who called the police. Connor is sitting, covered with blanket all around him. Glenda says to the police that something has happened to this boy. "I called you to find that out." Glenda sees Jeff. A police asks Jeff, "Do you know this boy?" Jeff replied, "I do, he is my boyfriend." Surprised, Glenda asks Jeff, "Your boyfriend? Are you kidding?" Police asks Jeff, "What happened to him?" Jeff replies, "He drank too much today, nothing else." Police then starts asking Jeff, like a usual police inquiry would be, "How old is he?" Jeff lies that he is 19, and he can have drinks in this age. "Alright, we believe you, but we have to see some evidence that proves he is your boyfriend," said the police. "Evidence? I do have his photos. You'll believe me once you see that. It's inside my room. I'll show you if you come with me inside my room," said Jeff. "Okay, then let's go to your room," said the police. Glenda in wonder asks the police, "Did you really believe him? He says he have evidence for what he is claiming. We have to believe him," said the police to Glenda. Then they goes to Jeff's room. Jeff is carrying Connor on his shoulders to the room. The police senses the room too stinky. The foul smell is in fact the stink from dead bodies. The police inquires about the foul smell. Jeff, as usual, says to everyone that it is the smell of rotten pork. Then Jeff lets Connor lie on the sofa. "Does he live here?" asked police further about Connor. "Yeah, he lives with me," said Jeff. Jeff then shows them the photos of Connor, but the police didn't really care about that. Instead, they were observing the room. A police officer stared at Jeff's bedroom, but he didn't enter Jeff's bedroom. Actually, the black man's body was lying on the floor of that bedroom. If the police enters the bedroom, they could definitely see the body. Jeff used to keep the bodies safe in his bedroom itself. He never threw away any of those bodies outside. The police says, "You should take good care of this boy," and leaves. Then Jeff goes inside and takes a weapon in his hand, placed on the table. Glenda sees the police leaving from that apartment through her window. Suddenly she hears a sound from Jeff's room. It was the sound of something being cut. From the sound, one can clearly understand that it is the sound of Jeff cutting Connor into pieces.